Welcome back to another episode of Rock Boys Football. Dill, USC dominates Michigan. And I'm sitting here on a Sunday afternoon rewatching this football game. There we talk about USC being a college football playoff team because that version that you saw Saturday night, you're going to have every shot in the world to go make a run at the college football playoffs. Now, I think there are a lot of USC fans that are listening to this that say, hey, want to go see them do it on the road against Notre Dame this weekend. That version of USC is going to be very tough to beat. And Dill, there are a lot of football players that deserve some credit that didn't get enough credit late Saturday night when the boys hopped on and kind of gave a little instant reaction. Upon rewatching, number one, 265 passing yards for Jayden. I don't think that does it justice how good he played. And I think the really bad pick in the red zone is going to kind of burn in people's minds. Dill, almost every other rep he had, he was dang near perfect in this one. And how quickly the ball was getting out of his hands was absolutely elite. That's credit to Jayden. That's also credit to Lincoln Riley. Dill, the most complete game that we've seen from USC in Lincoln Riley's tenure. Is that a crazy statement to make? Because even you go back to when USC was winning a lot of football games with Caleb Williams, they weren't complete games. It was very heavily skewed by one football player on that team. You talk about offense, you talk about defense, you talk about special teams, you talk about coaching, like all coming together. Kind of feel like that's what you got Saturday night from USC. I'm very excited to get into this one. I got a lot of names on my sheet that I want to give some love to. Before we do, and as always, to the USC fans, Dill, we've been asking this question a lot. We're about midway through the 2025 season. I would love to hear the expectations that the USC fans now have for this football team in 2025. Because, Dill, I'm guessing you woke up Saturday morning with one expectation. You're probably waking up Sunday morning with a little bit different expectations for this football team. Let it fly in the comment section. Do we think this is a college football playoff team in 2025? Let it rip. Appreciate you guys. And we said it last night. I'll say it again. The amount of support that this fan base has shown the boys over the last couple of years been amazing. Both of us are Michigan fans. That was a tough one for the boys to watch last night, but it makes me feel better that the USC fans do get to enjoy it because, again, the support y'all show the boys, absolutely awesome. Appreciate you guys. Dill, without further ado, you want to start with this offense and you want to start with Jayden. What were your reactions after watching this game back again Sunday morning?
I mean, just the ability to get the ball out of his hands almost immediately. And he really took Michigan's defensive line wholly out of that football game. And again, it's not like he ever got the ball out of his hands and didn't see something, put the ball in harm's way. It's not like he made any mistakes doing it. So to, again, pretty much all game long, never hold the ball particularly long, but make good decisions pretty much 100% of the time. Really, really impressive.
He didn't get fooled once, right? The only interception he had, the only turnover-worthy play he had was he just lost his mind trying to do a little too much. Outside of that one play, I mean, he was dang near perfect in this game and made some high-level throws. Like, I think Mekhi Lemon gets a lot of the credit for the catch that he made. And you can't throw a better football than what Jayden threw to Mekhi Lemon.
I mean, threw a sick ball to Jacoby Lane that I think a lot of times Jacoby Lane comes up with on the sideline. You said a really good throws. That ability to work the seam, I feel like that's a new thing kind of for Jayden's game, and especially with those tight ends. It's been a really effective part of that offense. And again, you saw a couple moments against Illinois where he got fooled in those spots. Not to hit you. Again, you're just continuing to see the progression that you need to see from him in order to really make this.
How foolish were we to doubt Lincoln Riley developing a quarterback? And I'll put my hand up and say, look, all offseason long, I said one of the biggest questions I had for USC was what they were going to get from the quarterback position. I liked certain things that we saw from Jayden last year, but it certainly was nowhere near perfect. Foolish. Ain't ever going to doubt Lincoln Riley coaching and developing quarterbacks ever again. You said something that stuck with me. His ability to work the middle, which is such a growing important part for this USC offense because there are so many teams that are going to give that red Sharpie treatment to Mekhi Lemon and Jacoby Lane. Though that middle of the football field is going to be wide open. Now, last year, Jayden struggled massively working the middle of the field. In fact, he really barely threw to the middle of the field. And when he did, the ball was normally in harm's way. His ability to get it over some underneath zone coverages before the safeties and throw that football with some touch to his tight ends. And I give his tight ends all the credit in the world, right? Like making some plays.
And they're making really good catches.
And that's sometimes what it's going to look like, man. Like when you're playing really good defenses, you got to make high-level throws, and you're going to have to make high-level. When you play the tight end position, go and get hit when you're trying to catch footballs. USC's tight ends have been nails. Outside of that fumble by Lake McCree, the tight end usage over the middle of the field has been a monster part for this USC offense in some really, really big moments. Dill, you said an average time to throw 2.2 seconds for Jayden last night. That is an absolutely insanely low number. And because you have guys like Mekhi Lemon who are so dangerous after the catch, also your running backs out of the backfield, you can still be explosive through the air because you have that yards after the catch ability. Upon the rewatch, I thought Jayden was really freaking good. Probably about, I mean, you go on the road and beat Notre Dame and you put together a really dang good performance, Heisman Trophy conversation all of a sudden happens with what Jayden's doing. The other storyline here, because again, the storyline of Mekhi Lemon being really good, not sure that surprises any USC fans listening. He's the best wide receiver, one of, if not the best wide receiver in the country. What I love about Mekhi Lemon, sorry, I'm maybe rambling a little bit, so I apologize, Dill. What I love about Mekhi is that there are so many really good wide receivers that feel one-dimensional. Like, you can use Mekhi Lemon all over the field in so many different ways. He can beat you vertically. He's an elite route runner, really good after the catch. So sometimes when you have really good wide receivers, if a defense wants to take them away, they can take them away. It's so hard to take away Mekhi Lemon because you can put him everywhere you want on the field and he can do everything you want him to do. Offensive line play. I'm going to give you the T-box first. What did you think, especially with John Ray Reed taking over?
He cleaned it up because he was bad against that Illinois team. I don't think you saw any big errors. That was the big thing. It's not like they dominated Michigan necessarily, but they did a really good job creating some creases in the run game. Again, like the pass protection, a lot of that was nullified or at least greatly helped by Jayden and Coach Lincoln Riley in terms of what they drew up.
Yep.
But you just didn't see them like – it wasn't like they were in a position where they were losing that game or they were really getting beat up. Like, again, I think it was at worst probably neutral. Like, they were just.
I would give it a little bit more credit than that, maybe. And you are probably right. Jayden's ability to get the ball out quick didn't really give Michigan's defensive line a ton of opportunity to get home and really impact Jayden. That's a massive credit to Jayden Dill. One of the things
negative plays in the run, that was probably the big one. They were able to keep themselves on schedule and again create a couple of creases where they got up to backers and were able to hit some big ones too.
I'll say I got two things to note with John Ray Reed. Number one, he graded out as the highest graded offensive lineman per PFF in pass protection. Really impressive. Two different things. Number one, did you see any really bad blown protections? I don't remember seeing all that much. And again, Wink Martindale sending some pressure from different spots. Maybe they got clean a couple of times, but I thought John Ray Reed did a pretty dang good job. That's a tough defense, right? You're going to get a lot of different blitz packages. Thought John Ray Reed did a really good job getting this offensive line in the right protections and picking up the right guys from the second level. Secondly, he's bigger and stronger than Killian O'Connor. And so that duo between John Ray, the big general, and Alani Noah, all of a sudden that's kind of a power duo that when they want to get on
good short yardage plays. I mean, we're really good on short yardage, did a good job moving guys. I'm kind of with you. Again, like his issue in that Illinois game was not to say one-on-one blocking. It was just not being very lost, not being able to pick things up.
Yes.
Again, you kind of tighten that up, and you certainly see the physicality that he can get to bring.
Coach Hansen, man, dude. I mean, it's one of the best offensive line coaching jobs I've seen across the, because this was on paper, like a massive concern. And then you tell me you lose your starting center, and then you tell me you're working a few games without your, what I think is an all-conference tackle in Elijah Page, and you're telling me this offensive line is not a problem? Like, what a job that we're doing on the offensive line. And the last shout-out, Tobias Raymond, like starting the season out at guard, and then having to move to right tackle. And then they move him to left tackle after the bye. He's played 3 different positions on both sides of the offensive line. And he just, everywhere you put him, he's consistently impactful and good. That's so hard. I ain't never played offensive line. I'm 5'8", $160. Dill, you got a little offensive line experience under your belt. That's very, very – you roll your eyes. That I know for a fact because I've talked to people. That's very difficult to do. And Tobias Raymond just continues to be probably the most consistent offensive lineman on this USC unit. Last one, King Miller. You love his, and this is going to be important, right? Because Wayman Jordan's out for a little bit. Eli Santa's going to be out, I think, maybe for the rest of the season. I think Lincoln Riley said King Miller is going to be your running back 1 for the foreseeable future. And USC has leaned on the run game. The thing that's – okay, I'll ask you, what's your evaluation of what you saw from King?
Good. I mean, really good. I thought he was getting into his goals. I thought like a little bit more pop than maybe I would have expected from a guy who, again, wasn't necessarily recruited based on a ton of trades. So yeah, scholarship running backs, I expect them to have a bit of acceleration. Like there were good moments where I felt like it almost seemed like he surprised Michigan players with how much acceleration he had, how hard he was hitting holes and like getting by guys. So that to me, again, it didn't look like Michigan trotted out a guy who was a former walk-on in Bryson Kuzdal. You could pretty much tell he was a former walk-on. I couldn't say the same for King Miller. He looked the part as a running back, like a big-time D1 running back.
I think that's probably the best way to put it. His ability to hit the home run play, we've seen that before this game, right? We saw it again today, or last night, I should say. The physicality in contact balance, he averaged over 5 yards per carry after contact. Like being able to do some of that dirty work is also going to be really important because now you are the all-purpose running back. Like when it's 3rd and 2, you got to run behind your pads and get a first down. You have to do that along with trying to hit big plays. King Miller showed the ability to do that, really dynamic out of the backfield too. Hey, get ready to learn King Miller because I don't think the run game is going anywhere. Like when Wayman Jordan went out with the injury, it's not like USC abandoned the run. They said, hey, King Miller, we're going to give you the rock 20 times in this game. Go make it happen. He really did. And he makes – and Michigan was not perfect with the run fits, far from it. He makes it kind of be perfect because if you don't fit the run and you're a 2nd-level safety that's coming there, a 3rd-level safety that's coming downhill, and you take a bad angle like Brandon Hellman did, like, he's going to run right by you. He does have that juice at the 2nd and 3rd level too. USC punted the ball 1 time, right? They moved the football. The only reason they didn't score 40+ was they turned the football over in the red zone twice. All right, defensive side of the football, which I also think is important, right? Michigan only 300 total yards. The defensive line, 2 things I'll note. And look, Michigan had some success at times running the football, and we're moving some bodies. 2 things I would note. Number 1, we're better at the point of attack for the most part. Like against Illinois, they just lost. And there was a lot of movement created by that Illinois offensive line. You saw USC lean into some young cats. Like, hey, Jakeem Stewart, we're going to make you pay 30+ snaps because at least Jakeem Stewart was giving you some fight against Illinois.
Well, and the big thing is he creates negative plays and he gets in the gaps because honestly, at this point, like, why play the big boys if they're not gonna hold up particularly well and they're not getting behind the line of scrimmage? Like to me, right now, if I'm USC, I think we figured out the recipe, and we probably knew this was the recipe.
Yeah,
you just got to be chasing negative plays because again, there are imperfections and there are things that this USC defense needs to kind of rebuild, if you will. But they have some really good athletes on that defensive line. The linebackers stepped up and were much more active, getting downhill, getting to some negative plays. I thought Desmond Stevens looked awesome.
Best game of his career.
The type of game they need to play. So honestly, I'm leaning into the athletes. Yeah. Like no more of the 330 pounders. They're not playing particularly great anyway. Just let the young guys play. Let the athletes on the field.
Go let them penetrate. Go let them create negative plays.
It's Silver and Jarrett, like they're not giving you what frankly their job is to do, and that's be able to stand up double teams. Like,
and Bill, that's not inherently like a bad way to do things. Like Georgia prefers that. Like they're gonna get big bodies and they're gonna create a wall and eat some double teams up and let the linebackers come downhill. Penn State had a very good defense last year. They were undersized penetrators. if you're Dan Lynn, it's about learning what you have. And I thought he did a really good. I got to give a ton of credit to Coach Lynn because I was very critical of him 2 weeks ago. I think he took a long look in the bye week and said, what are we good at? What are we not good at? How do we lean into it? You ain't just going to snap your fingers and fix personnel problems, you know? So it's about, hey, what's my personnel? How can I lean into my personnel being good and say, hey, a little bit smaller, more athletic up front. Let's go penetrate and create negative plays. And that's kind of what you saw them do. We'll give up a 10-yard chunk, but on the next play, if we get a 2-yard loss and start getting a little bit more aggressive, that's how we have success on defense. I'll talk about personnel. One other thing. Sorry, backtracking. Thought the edge defenders were much better against the run. I thought Cam Crawford was quite frankly just straight up bad against Illinois, stopping the run. Wasn't taking on blocks the right way. Thought he was much improved. And I think they actually did not start him in that football game. And I'm probably guessing that was a little bit of a message because he played plenty of snaps. He didn't start. I'm guessing that was like, hey, you ain't going to do your job the right way. We're going to go with Shelby and Lucas. Thought Cam Crawford was much better stopping the run. The other thing from a personnel standpoint is we don't really have a nickel that we trust, right? And I think we want Kamari Ramsey back at safety. Okay. If we don't love our nickels, but we like 3 linebackers that we have, let's just screw it. Let's get the 3 linebackers on the football field, and that's what they did. Eric Gentry, Desmond Stevens, Jayden Walker. That was the base defense. 4 down linemen, 3 linebackers. What allows you to do that is, number one, Michigan's personnel. You knew Michigan was going to go a lot of 12 personnel, and I'm guessing you might see a decent amount of that from Notre Dame next week too. So I wonder if they stay in that package. But it allows you to get the players who've been playing well for you on the field, and that's Jayden Walker, Dill. Right? Like Jayden Walker's been good for USC in his snaps. Let's get him on the field more. They did, and I thought it paid some monster dividends for USC on defense.
Man, they're all athletic enough, so it's not like
Agreed
you're
with that. Great
speed.
take.
I mean, you got athletic linebackers. Again, not the biggest, so like you maybe want a little bit of extra size because especially when you're going to play a little bit more just stylistically athletic linebackers.
Well, because you go back and say, Eric Gentry is like a unicorn. He can do whatever you want. He can play any position you want him to play. You would slot out there as like essentially a nickel defender, overhanging linebacker, whatever you want to call it. Like Desmond Stevens was a safety in high school. Jayden Walker also played a little defensive back. So these guys have experience in coverage. So like you said, we're bringing a linebacker on the field, taking off a 5th defensive back, but you feel pretty good about it because you're pretty damn athletic at the linebacker position. The secondary opportunistic when they had the chances to create turnovers. I'm not going to get up here and say USC's secondary is fixed because Michigan's wide receivers are not very good right now, but it wasn't a glaring problem. And I think it was partly Coach Lynn saying, hey, just lean into what we do well. We're going to send some blitz packages, try to create some negative plays, and you saw them get to that. I guess here's the best way to round this out. Against Illinois, USC's defense, they got hunted. They were on their heels from the first whistle to the last whistle, right? Never got into favorable down and distances, never really got all that aggressive. Against Michigan, they were hunters, right? They were aggressive, and they say, hey, we're going to dictate how this game is played. I give Coach Lynn a lot of credit, and obviously the players a lot of credit too. It was a different kind of defense, different vibe of a defense than you saw against Illinois. And again, now the big question is kind of round this back to the reason we're doing this episode, Dill. Is this a playoff team? You showed the ability that you have the ability to make that run, right? Now you have to go on the road, back across the country, and show us, right? Because that's been the struggle for Lincoln Riley. If they can go do that, man, and they go out and beat Notre Dame, hell yeah, this team's a playoff team, 100%. So a college football playoff vibe in that game. We're going to preview that game either tonight or tomorrow, depending on the scheduling. So appreciate you guys rocking with it. If y'all do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel, and we'll talk to y'all later.